kind of got some good news. The exhaust is in, so I can get rid of my modified here. This was a company called the Kevic. It's a UK company. Everything was wrapped up very nice, very awesome, and cut everything off. Bubble wrap, taped, everything was really well secured. So no worries on that front. I did take everything off. I wanted to see what it looked like. You can see that the ports are numbered, pipes are numbered, which is awesome. Did come with new exhaust gaskets. Then it's got springs to hold everything together here. There are clamps in the with the mufflers in here. I'll show you those when I pull them out. This is for the center stand, so you can bolt it up. Gold Wing stand stop. So I'm going to pull out one of the mufflers here just to show you what it looks like. I pulled it out. You can see the Kevic, you know, gives you the UK website. I mean, it's just nice. It does have the baffles in it. They are removable. So if I want it louder, I can pull them out. If not, I'll leave them in there. So I'm going to wait for the new exhaust nuts to get here. And then I will pull the old exhaust off and slap the new exhaust on. I do have some plans with the little ones this afternoon, so it's not going to be while it's still daylight out. It'll probably be later on. Alright, so as you can see, it's nighttime here. And got the new exhaust on. Now this one here is just these two cylinders for this exhaust. Same on the other side. Whereas the old one had the crossover. The new one does not have that. So this is going to be the first start. It is a cold start. And we're going to see what it sounds like together. That's a lot better. She is cold, so she's idle and low. Alrighty, so today, trying to work on my 1982 Honda GL 1100 Aspencade. So, previous video, bought it, did front brakes, rear brakes, tires, tune-up, which was all great. Ran good, no issues. Took it out for a ride just before winter hit and realized it was leaking fluid. But you can see she's all wet in there, a little green in there. So I believe it is leaking from, you can see that tube. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. There's a tube back there that goes from underneath here back into where right there is where the thermostat goes in. So you've got the thermostat housing, and then you have the housing that it's attached to, which goes back, and then you have the tubes coming underneath here, back there, into the head to help with the coolant going through everything. So it is leaking from, let's see, I can kind of actually see it. You can see that tube right there. It is leaking. That O-ring is broken. So, got a leak there. So, leaks out antifreeze and smokes like crazy because there's antifreeze pouring all over the heads and the exhaust. Now, I can replace that, or I have to do the timing belts, timing chain cover. Down here as well, I also have an oil leak. You can tell the seals have failed back here. So I have to remove all this anyway to replace the gaskets and whatnot. So I don't know how deep I have to go into it, if I'm going to end up doing the head gaskets or not. But I do know that I'm going to have to take off this fairing here, take the radiator out, take off the crash bar here, pull off the footboard, remove all this stuff. This way I have easy access to everything on both sides. This side also has a tube that runs back behind here, behind all this fancy chrome. I'm going to start tearing things apart. Obviously these lower fairings here have to come off, so it's 3 bolts, 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom, both sides. And we're looking here for these crash bars. So there's a U-bolt up for the top one, and there's just a bolt here. Then there's a bolt down under here where this whole footboard connects in. So I'm gonna take all this stuff off. I'm gonna see if I can find a better looking one of this. Maybe one that's full chrome. If not, maybe I'll I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I would love to move these floorboards back. I do have big feet, so big old size 15 here. If I can move this back an inch, that would be awesome. So I thought about going through and nipping these off, moving them back and welding them. But then I have to strip everything, and I don't know if I actually want to do that, or if I want to buy the standard set of foot pegs, which would just mount back here, and then get rid of this and just have the standard shifter. So I'm not sure yet. I know this is all just BS. But yeah, so we'll start tearing it apart, and I'll let you know what I find as I go. Alrighty, so as you can see, she's starting to look a little naked. Got all this off. I took off the side covers here. Not all of the Gold Wings, from what I understand, have those beauty panels, I guess you could call it. For this one, this side here, so 12 up here, 8mm here, and then it also went on this stud here for the foot peg or the floorboard, as this one has. For the other side, same thing up top, 12, and then it was attached to this bolt here, which is an 8, and then it just kind of sits around everything else. It was a little difficult getting it around the brake pedal, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. So it was a little bit of pulling and twisting and everything, but got them set up there for now. So you can see that these fuel lines aren't They're not terrible. They're definitely not the worst I've seen for a 40-year-old bike at this point, 42-year-old bike. It's an 82. It's 2024 now. So, yeah, we're looking at 42 years. So, bike's even older than I am. So, I'll go on the other side here. Over on this side, this is where we're leaking, is this tube here. It's definitely leaking at the bottom here. So I should be able to remove the 2 bolts, pull that tube out, fix that. I'll talk to Noodles and see what he thinks is a good idea. I was looking on one of the Facebook groups, and basically, I mean, the bike's been sitting since 2015. So at least that's the last time it was inspected. The receipt that was in the back said 2014 they got everything done. So I don't know if they actually drove it or not. Who knows how long it's been sitting before that. I'm going to say it's been sitting for at least 10 years. So for the gaskets and everything to be going, it's completely understandable. With ordering the new gasket kit, maybe I don't have to do, maybe I'll leave the head gaskets alone, but I'll do the valve cover gaskets, the intake gaskets. I did order the new gaskets for the front here. The plate that's here, I was going to take this off, but I realized that it is all part of the motor mount system here. Turn the light on. So you can see the bar that goes from the motor up to the frame. So I decided not to do that yet. It actually shouldn't matter if I take those out. The engine will drop probably a little bit, but not enough, because we do still have the main bolt in the bottom here and then the rear mounts and everything. But for this, if you are to remove it, there's 17. There's 2 on the bottom, 1 on each side, and then there's 2 at the top there, 1 on each side. You're looking on the Facebook forums and stuff and asking people questions. Listen, if you have any questions on these things, I am no means an expert. There's a group on Facebook, and I posted about the bike, saying I'd picked it up and everything. And a lot of it was, congrats, good luck. Great to see the younger generation, getting into older bikes and, riding them. Other things were guys talking about taking the carbs off, making sure you clean the carbs, making sure you replace the gaskets, making sure you do all kinds of different things. There's all different mods you can do to these things to no end. All right, so the group that I'm in is GL 1100 owners only. Basically, they go through and you can, look through all different posts and whatnot, people talking about different things, which is really good. It's awesome. Any questions, most people have been able to answer them. I've had little questions here and there, nothing major, more of, what do I do with this thing? And a lot of people say restore it. Some people say leave it. Some people, everybody's got their own opinion. It's basically whatever you want to do. But I wanted to share that little bit of information. If you have any questions, you can certainly ask us. If we know it, we'll tell you. If we don't, that group definitely helps with these. I've seen other questions in that group about like the rear shocks and everything, switching them over from the air shocks to the progressive shocks and switching out the front and everything. And they all talk about their different experiences and whatnot. So I did buy the belts, the timing belts. So they are both the same belt from what I understand. Yeah, these are the belts. And they just look like standard, timing belts, nothing crazy. Somewhere up there, I also have, I had bought the gasket previously for the timing cover, but that comes with the whole kit. So I'll replace, that when it comes. right, so as you saw in the time lapse, I removed the radiator cover. What I thought would just be removing the radiator cover there. It actually unbolted the entire radiator. So, there's 2 bolts in the bottom here, 2 nuts at the top. So between those, you can get everything out. I did bend these brackets a little bit out, so this way everything would come right out. That, you can see here, the radiator cover itself, how this curves over and curls. I could have pulled everything out at once, but I don't have the radiator hoses and everything disconnected yet, so I'm going to drain the coolant system now. So I'm going to set up my oil pan, pull that out, and then I'll show y'all what comes out. So give me a minute to get it set up and we'll go from there. All right, so got my pan down here, 14 on there. We'll take this out and drain the system of antifreeze. I believe that's what this is gonna do. Get to see if it's nasty or what's it look like. There it goes. Yeah, pretty fresh looking actually. Not too terrible. All right, I'm gonna let this drain throughout the night. And it's dark. I'm gonna call it a night. Cool.
We're back on the Gold Wing. Before we touch base, if you guys notice any increase, did you film anything with this audio yet?
I did not. I picked them up and that was it.
So we'll go through. Stitches went through and he picked up these audio mics. Something on...
Just off of Amazon. It was like 25, 30 bucks.
It's cool though because it comes with the dual dongle. So it has a USB-C dongle for the Androids, but it also has one of the Lightning dongles for the iPhone because Stitches uses Android phones and I use the Apple phones. So whatever we're recording, we should have a little bit better audio because we've noticed our audio sucks.
Yeah.
So,
hoping that it'll cut down on some of the road noise from the road and some of our breathing in the videos.
It's just the breathing's going to be worse. But all right, cool.
I don't know. Hopefully it's not as bad.
So we are back on the Gold Wing. As you guys saw in the last couple clips on the Gold Wing, Stitches went through and he pulled everything apart. And we're getting ready to do thermostat and fix the coolant leaks and a whole bunch
of oil leak.
Yeah, the oil leak.
The oil leak down here. It's very slow, very slight, but there is an oil leak.
But Stitches went through. He's pulling this front motor mount, and while he's doing that, I'm working on taking the thermostat out and replacing the thermostat. You want me to get that connector?
No. It's just.
Oh, it's one of these.
Yep, one of those.
Honda famous.
Yeah, little bend around the wire.
Okay, so basically, 4/17 for this front motor mount. One in either corner, 1, 2, 3, 4. While he's doing that, I'm here. I pulled the thermostat out, and I'm getting the O-ring off of the thermostat housing. To get the thermostat out, it's an 8mm bolt. The gasket set did come with a new gasket for the thermostat housing, so... And I'm just going to inspect in here and see how everything looks. We'll just give her a quick little inspection, see if there's any pitting or anything. I don't see anything. It looks really clean in there. A little oxidation on that sensor, but really nothing to be worried about.
I'm going to pull you guys up here.
But if you guys want to take a peek, looks really clean in there.
It doesn't look bad.
So, a little bit of material or minerals, deposits inside there, but really nothing crazy.
I think that's dirt just from pulling everything apart, honestly.
I do too.
I love how they did the spark plug boots here.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Nice and simple. Pull both out.
You put new plugs on this thing?
I did. Yeah, that was all done previously.
And this gasket kit should have come with everything. So, I mean, it's tight, but having ratcheting wrenches, especially these with the flex head, really make it, it's a game changer for this. So, with this kind of stuff, I'm going to sit here and just kind of line the bolts up in front of me. But we do use video footage to verify.
To help ourselves.
Yeah.
If we forget where something goes, we'll go back and look at our videos, look at what we recorded, and just see what we left, where we left it, how we took it off, all that fun stuff.
I'm going to need a box wrench for this one. I like to do little taps with the box wrench just to kind of crack it loose. Just the same idea.
Tap it in.
Yeah, basically.
Give it a little tap, tap, tap.
Little left taps, that's all.
So I don't know how easy that's going to come out.
It feels like it's moving under my hand, but I could be wrong. Hard to say. So the O-ring is on the inside here. We're going to take the light. Oh, yeah. You can see that O-ring is destroyed.
Get in there.
Can you guys see that? Give her a zoom, yeah. And if you guys look in there, you can see the O-ring is just smushed.
Yep.
It happens. Heat plus the glycol.
40-year-old bike.
Yep.
42-year-old bike.
So I've still got the pick here. So I'm just gonna take the pick, go from whatever the easiest angle is with one hand, and just very gently.
Unfortunately, it's one of those tight spaces where, you know, yeah, you can see it's all corroded and everything.
Yep. Well,
it's the paint from the tubes and whatnot.
Are we gonna change this one since we're here?
Yeah, we could change both.
All right. So I mean, you can see with this one too, it's kind of smushed.
Yep.
So easy on one side. On the other side, you need a pick.
We'll change both, and the gasket for down here. So we'll scrape all that, clean it all up. Safety third.
We just like the sticker bomb. So if you guys want to send us stickers, find us on Instagram, send us a message. We'll give you our PO box, and maybe you guys can make it to a little sticker bomb here.
Yeah.
All right. So going through here, we got this side coolant passageway cleaned up as well. Went through. We took a razor blade, very carefully scraped, and then when we finished with the razor blade, we took a whiz wheel just to level it out. Did the mating surface on the head and this little flange here. The O-rings were just a shot on this side. One thing I did notice is the right side, the crossover tube is about twice the length as the left side. So it's something to take note of. Now I'm gonna go in the gasket set here while Stitches is sitting on Facebook Marketplace, and
No, I was seeing if they had the whiz wheel pieces at the store.
Yeah.
See if they had them in stock, because I'm sure we're gonna need some more.
Yeah,
So.
I'm razzing them.
No,
I'm gonna go through and find the O-rings and the gaskets.
Ordered a gasket kit off of eBay. It was roughly about $100. It's supposed to be all the engine gaskets. So we got your timing chain cover, head gasket or valve cover gaskets, head gaskets, exhaust gaskets, all the everything that's supposed to be for the motor. Got a whole pack of O-rings here. It even came with valve seals, so which is kind of nice.
Yep.
Don't really need them.
This gasket was the old thermostat gasket, so I had already gotten into this when I replaced the O-ring for the thermostat housing.
So I mean, I have everything here. I mean, we could go through and do a refresh on every single gasket, but at the same time, how far do we want to tear it down? How deep do we really want to get? Because I can save all these gaskets if in the future we want to change them.
It's got case gaskets and everything, dude.
Yeah,
that is really nice. For $100, I'd say it's worth it. That's fine. Stupid gasket. So there's two belts. Belt in the front runs to the right side of the engine. Belt in the back runs to the left side of the engine. And I mean, there's also wear. You can see very clear wear on the belt itself. So we're definitely going to get these changed out as well. I'm going to grab this 17 mil.
Sensor.
Yep.
Plugs right here.
It'll sneak through?
Yep.
Okay. So you want to show them?
There's a little bit of sludge in here. You can kind of see little bit of sludge in there.
I'll start off this
I did wipe out quite a bit, but there was quite a good amount of sludge down in there, which is unfortunate. Let's see. There's quite a bit of sludge, as he said. Yeah, trying to get all that gasket off is going to be a pain.
All right, cool. We're back. As you guys can see, we got this front cover cleaned up and on. New gasket installed. There's all new O-rings for the coolant fittings. There's a new gasket for the water pump housing, and there's a new gasket for the inlet tube. Next up, we're going to remove the timing belt. We watched about 7 seconds of a video, and we noticed that there are timing marks on the sides of the camshafts, and that's it.
Okay, so anybody out there wondering, the Honda numbers for these, can't see it so good, but it's
1440067900041.
So that's the Honda number. I bought Gates timing belts, and it's T274.
But it also has right here.
Yep.
14006790041.
You can see on there, it's got the actual part number on there. It's the second one from the bottom, which is on what's on the belts.
Yep.
But that's the part number for Gates. From what I read, they're supposed to be pretty decent. Yeah. So I'm hoping they'll last. Look at that. Starting to fray.
Yep.
So that's all right. We'll toss these.
Yeah, those aren't going to go in the save for later bin.
No, it doesn't make sense to. There are things that will go to save for later, but not these.
update video. It's been 2 days since we worked on the bike. Unfortunately, I totaled the 2500 yesterday.
Yeah.
Someone blew a stop sign and hit me. We'll post some pictures right here. As you guys can see, they blew a stop sign, smacked the front of the truck. We're waiting for insurance adjusters to come back, but that kind of took our precedence for yesterday. Okay, so we're back on the Gold Wing. It's been about 2 weeks. Totaled stitches truck, got a new truck, had knee surgery, had a whole bunch of stuff going on. So kind of we've been predisposed, but we're gonna jump back in this thing. And the Gold Wing takes the same battery as the Cavalcade.
I would give you the one that was on the Gold Wing, but the terminals are all.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Yeah, so
you guys can't see it now, but there's another motorcycle in the back there that we'll you guys will get introduced to here in a little bit.
it's over that way.
Yeah. Basically, we had talked about in the last Gold Wing video about me getting a touring bike as well. So that's it. You guys will have a whole video on it, and in that we'll talk more in depth. But if you guys see it in the background, there's another video coming out for that bike soon.
Like how soon is soon? Like tomorrow?
No.
6 months?
It depends. Depends on
3.5 years?
how long it takes for me to edit the video and all that stuff. How long it takes for us to actually fix that bike.
This is true. All right, so this one's for the rear here. So we pulled it off. You can see on the inside of these boots, you got a nice little ribs there, little slot up there for the top of the carburetor, for everything sits perfectly. O-rings are a little on the flat side.
Oh yeah, these are cooked.
But you can see in here in the carburetor, actually, this doesn't look terrible. A little bit of buildup, but nothing horrible.
The bike doesn't run bad.
The bike does not run bad. We could drain the bowls of the carburetors. I did buy kits to redo the carburetors.
Those might go in the Gold Wing box though, I think.
But as you can tell, you have to remove the false tank, the air box, and then you could separate this whole thing in order to take them off.
There's no way these are the O-rings for this.
It doesn't look like the carbs were leaking. I mean, they're gross, but...
Okay, so you've got the intake runner here, and you've got 2 bolts on either side. They're 10 mil bolts, and then you've got these rubber carb boots that sit there and seal to the carburetor for the intake runner. So I'm going to crack these loose, and then I'm going to let Bubby take these out. And while he does that, I'll loosen up the intake boots, and we'll go from there. Me and Stitches have the mics on us, so you guys aren't going to be able to hear Bubby too much, but you'll still be able to hear him a little bit if he wants to say what up.
What's up?
Dude, that's such a teenager thing to say. What's up?
Hey,
All right.
you said say what's up. Am I wrong?
Nope, here if you want. And show 'em.
So your choke cable from up here runs down through the fairing, up over the frame here. On the inside, you can see it's right here.
Tucked under the false tank.
Tucks under the false tank and it goes underneath the airbox and it runs over to the other side there.
Where my hand is, yeah.
Yep, you've got the little clamp here to hold it in place. Runs down right here to this plastic piece, right to for the choke and everything. So it is a little bit of a pain to do.
Easier with two people than one, for sure.
Absolutely. It's just the sending it, because there is just kind of a crazy curve here, the way right here, I think.
Yeah.
I think they could have routed it better.
But this was 1982, and this is an 80 to 84, so you got to figure they weren't thinking with computer engineering the way that we do now. Everything was just, does it work? All right, it works. Cool.
Yeah. It keeps it a little tension on it too, so.
Yeah, and to adjust the slack out like we were talking about, what I did is I grabbed a pair of needle nose pliers and I pinched right here on the metal. I loosened this up and I just pulled it down just a little bit to slide it deeper into the clamp. That's all.
Yep.
And that took the free play out of it.
Maybe. What the?
All right, we're back here. We put the floorboards and the side covers on. Wasn't really anything to it. There's a bolt here, nut here, bolt here for the side cover. You've got to put this engine cover on first, and then you put this bolt on. We put some antifreeze in it, and we're getting ready to fire it off, and then we're gonna kind of go from there.
Spilling antifreeze everywhere.
Yeah, it happens.
Horrible design for this.
Put the camera up front, and we're gonna.
All right. Well, it's gonna take a couple seconds to start.
Yeah, not problems. Hope you didn't break that.
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah.
right, so we're gonna keep tooling along with this thing, and we will check back with you guys in a few minutes. Basically, we got to put the false tank back on.
Yep. The where they put the radiator cap on this thing is horrible. I don't know if you can see it. Actually, you can see it from here. You see it's way down in here, where my finger is there, right there.
So now for you guys to see, it's behind the false tank.
In this upper corner here.
Yeah, it's terrible. And the overflow's over there too, isn't it?
The overflow is under here. You can get to that with the false tank on. It's right here. It's just still a horrible spot for it to be in because of all the airlines and everything. So, I mean, I guess I get it, but trying to make it compact, you know.
Plus the sleek design, because that's what the styling started in the 80s, was the sleek design. But we're gonna get this thing back together a little bit more, and we will give you guys an update in a few minutes here, because this is just reassembling everything you guys saw us take apart.
Yep.
Alright, so we got all of the bearings and everything back on. Everything's bolted up. Guys, we showed you the choke cable, we showed you all that stuff. A couple hours later, we had a couple things we had to do, dinner and whatnot. All the side panels and everything are back up. We were getting ready to take this thing out of the shop, and then we realized that we wanted to change the diff fluid. So, to change the diff fluid, you've got 2 bolt holes here. You've got your drain, you've got your fill. So, you got a 10 millimeter at the bottom. You want to get it right up in there, give her a little tap. Wasn't that tight?
That doesn't have to be.
No, just seated.
Ew.
That's, yeah, smells like gear fluid.
All right, and just pop that other one off and
That'll help with the flow.
let her flow.
The other bolt is a 17 mil. When you do these, you drain it out until it's empty. Once it's empty, you fill it here until it starts weeping out of this hole.
Yep, you're going to fill it right to the bottom of this hole.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's it. Any more than that is too much. Because basically the gear oil is really thick and it just makes a film on the teeth.
So while this drains, you know, it's going to be a little bit because it's definitely nice and thick. Reading online, it was 90 weight oil to be put in the rear end. At least that's what was in their factory.
What, SAE 90?
Yeah. But I've read 75, 90 works. 80, 90 also works as well. You can do either or. So we have 75, 90, so that's what we're putting in.
Yep.
So once this is all done, we'll get her off the ramp or off the lift, and we'll go from there. I don't think that's going to help it drain faster.
I'm inspecting the gears.
No.
You know, because you can see that gear for the diff. So.
Do we want to look?
I don't see anything. A little film, like I said. We could go and hit this with a little bit of brake clean, because you can see some of it's really thick and chunky in there.
Oh yeah, it is. That's okay. We're gonna let it drain out. We'll go from there.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right.
All right. So we went through. We changed the fluid. There was a lot of sludge in there, so we went and we used some Super Tech brake parts cleaner. We used some parts cleaner and we cleaned it up, broke down the sludge.
So basically, we put the drain in, filled it up with the brake parts cleaner, rolled the wheel backwards a couple times, drained it out, and then we took gear oil, put it in, ran it through to make sure that we got all the parts cleaner out, and then refilled it. I'm gonna run this for like, I don't know what,
A month. I'd say probably to the end of next month.
2-3 weeks, depending on how much riding I do over the next couple
it's still
weeks.
a little cold, so.
But
to specify, I wanted to touch base with this. So these, on the bottom of the diff here, it says that you have to use hypoid gear oil. The gear oil that we use, the 75W90, meets the specifications. It's hypoid gear oil, so it's for synchronized transmissions and limited slip differentials. So it's fine. And the 75W90, it's 90 weight oil. It's just the 75 viscosity 90 weight oil. So it's a little bit thinner
right.
on the film up, but the weight of it is still 90 weight oil. So it meets the same specifications as SAE 90. And it has the extra dinosaur bones and blood in it that helps out with all those gears and stuff too.
Pretty much.
So, just so you guys know, we are using the right oil in this. They recommend SAE 90, but the 75W90 still meets the specification, so it's an acceptable alternative, and it's easier to find than SAE 90 if you go to the parts stores.
Absolutely. You can still buy it from Honda if you want, but we
$26 a quart.
Right. So we're gonna get this behemoth off the lift, and we're gonna call it done, I guess. So just to recap, we got the Delkevic exhaust, got that on. Then we tore everything off the front here. We did the timing belt gaskets. We also did the, what are they, crossover tubes for
That's
the
what
cooler.
I would call it, is the coolant crossovers.
So the coolant crossover tubes for each head. We did the O-rings and the seals on them. We also did the O-rings on the carburetor.
Intake, I would call those intake manifolds.
The intake tubes.
Yeah, intake tubes, intake manifolds.
So we did the O-rings on this. We did not pull the carbs off and fully clean them because the bike ran fine. We didn't really worry about that. We did replace the fuel lines. Granted, they're no longer the fancy braided ones, just regular fuel line. We also replaced the gasket down here for the water pump housing and for the oil. Down here, there was a slight leak down here for the oil.
You did all the O-rings in there.
Did all the O-rings and then refilled it back up.
And we also cleaned inside the fairing. We just did that off camera. There was a little bit of mouse nest left over from when Stitches originally got the bike and the mouse house was in there. So we pulled the CB out and that whole box, and we cleaned with spray cleaner inside this fairing, and we cleaned the other side as well.
Also, we fixed the issue that I had. There's two bolts that come down to hold this fairing on here. I had snapped the rear bolt, so this whole thing would just kind of wiggle as you were going down the road. Now it's just nice and sturdy. We don't have to worry about that no more.
A little bit of noodles welding. Laugh all you want. It was a good bead.
It held. It held. That's all that matters.
Look, that was $40 an hour, all right?
So that's pretty much it for the 82 Gold Wing. And I gotta pull her down, give her a good scrub, and a good run.
I'm gonna talk him into getting a seat cover.
We'll see. I just really wish I knew what kind of soap they'd used on that to
break it down.
Yeah.
Because like here, where it originally was, dude, oh, that's such soft leather.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if you guys can. This versus.
That is what it is. All right.
Let's get her out. If you guys like this kind of content, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, see what we're working on. If we ever finish a project, because nothing's ever done.
This one's done.
It's not done. It's almost done.
Well, no, there's always things.
There's always things to do, like the radio and the speakers, and
that's...
find us on Instagram at rusted_nut_repair, and
we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.